Hello everyone, this is Tuba Mirza and welcome to Recoding.
In today's video, we are going to discuss Enum-based navigation and routing in SwiftUI. SwiftUI has become much more mature and many major native Swift apps have now embraced its declarative syntax. From iOS 16 onwards, SwiftUI introduced NavigationStack and NavigationSplitView, which provides native ways to create applications for iOS and macOS. So in this video, we will look at how we can use Enum-based navigation to route to different views in a centralized way. Before we get into the demo, we highly recommend you watching our detailed video on NavigationSplitView and NavigationStack so you can gain much more confidence as we build. The application which we are building is based upon Observation Library, which requires iOS 17 onwards to keep in mind before implementing this into an application. In this video, we will demonstrate how navigation is managed internally and how we can control routes in a more centralized way. You can open a link right inside the same navigation stack, just like simple navigation. Apart from that, you can open a completely different tab and push navigation directly inside it. If you're excited to learn about this, let's start coding. We have already created a multi-platform SwiftUI project. First, let's build the route enum. Inside the file, create an enum called app tab that conforms to int, hashable and identifiable. Inside the enum, add new cases for dashboard, browse and settings. Then create an ID variable that returns the raw value as a string. This is necessary to have a unique ID for navigation. Create another file and call it tabber navigation view. Inside it, add the boilerplate SwiftUI code and a preview. Now inside the body closure, add a tab view, and then add a text view for the dashboard. To add the label, use the table item modifier. Inside the closure, add a label with a text and an icon name. Similarly, create tabs for browse and settings. Just switch the preview to the iPhone view. Now you can see that the tab view appears here. To manage the routing, let's create a navigation. Import SwiftUI and the Observation Library. To start creating the class, first add the Observation macro. Then create a class called Router. Inside it, create a variable called SelectedTab that conforms to the app tab enum. Initially, it will show the dashboard. After creating the router, we need to initialize it in the root view. For our case, we are initializing it inside content view. Create a new state variable called router and initialize the router class. To manage the view across different devices and targets, we are creating a root navigation view. This helps tell SwiftUI how to store views according to different device sizes. Add some boilerplate code. To check the device size, use the horizontal size class environment value. Using this, we can determine if we want to show a tab bar or a split view. Then create a group. Inside it, add a switch statement. For the compact case, pass the tab bar. For the regular case, pass a sidebar text view, as we will look into split views in an upcoming video. For the default view, just add a text view saying not available. Add the preview part and here you can see the root navigation appears. To pass the router environment across SwiftUI views, create an extension on view and add a function called withPreviewEnvironment that returns some view. For self, add the router to the environment. Now let's start developing the tab and navigation view. Inside the view, add an environment property that takes the router class and name the variable router. Since environment contents are not directly passed as bindable, create a bindable property wrapper for the router. Add the selected tab, variable inside the tab view as its selection. Inside the preview, add withPreviewEnvironment modifier. Create a directory called views and move all the view files inside it. Then create another directory called router and move the router and route files inside it. Since we have two things named router, let's rename our class to navigation router. To make individual routes for each tab, create another enum called route that conforms to hashable. Inside it, create the same cases: dashboard, browse, and settings. Then create another enum called dashboard routes that also conforms to hashable. Inside it, create a case called profile that takes a string as a parameter and a case for comment. Inside dashboard routes, we can also add a destination property so it will directly show the detail view. Add the view builder property wrapper to a new variable called destination that returns some view. Inside it, add a switch statement. Add the respective views for each case inside it. Inside the router enum for the dashboard case, pass dashboard routes as an associated value so it requires views from the dashboard part. Inside the route enum, create another variable called tab that returns the app tab. This ensures that when we store routes in the main navigation, we know which route belongs to which application tab. Create a view builder inside route called destination and return the destination of the respective routes. Currently, we have only added routes for the dashboard, but in the future, we will add them for browse and settings too. To store all the app routes, open Navigation Router and add a new variable called routes. This will be a dictionary where the key is app tab and the value is an array of routes. Initialize the values as empty arrays. Next, create a function inside Navigation Router to push a route into the dictionary. The function takes a route as a parameter. It gets the tab data from the route and appends the route to the correct array inside the routes dictionary. Create another function to pop the view. This will take an app tab as an input. It checks if the route array is empty. If so, it returns. Otherwise, it removes the last item from the tabs array. Add a subscript that takes a tab parameter and returns the array of routes. Add the getter and setter values. Create a directory called navigation inside views and move the navigation files inside it. Now let's create the dashboard view. Add some boilerplate code. Inside the body, create a navigation stack. For the path, bind it to the router's path from the navigation router. Add some views into it, like a vStack and a text view. Create a button with an action and a label. Create a button with an action and a label. Inside the action, call the router's push function and pass. For example, a profile with a string. Now inside Content View, add the Route Navigation view. Use the environment modifier and pass the router. Inside Tabber Navigation view, add the Dashboard view. Inside Dashboard view, add the Navigation Destination modifier and pass the route's destination variable to directly handle the routing. Now you can see that we can successfully push a view inside the dashboard router. Similarly, we can create a settings view. Just like the dashboard view, add a navigation stack and pass the setting router array as the path. Inside the navigation stack, create a list view and a button for notifications. For the action, call the router to push the settings part. Add the navigation destination modifier and pass the router destination. This will automatically handle the view stack. Since we haven't added settings routes yet, let's do that first by creating another enum called the route file. Add the view builder and pass the destinations. Inside the main route enum, add the settings routes case as well. Now inside the settings view, add a few more buttons. Now we can see the navigation stack is working. Let's make it more complex and try to navigate to a setting directly from the dashboard view. To do this, create a button in dashboard view. For the action, set the selected tab to settings and then push a route, let's say cloud settings, inside the routes dictionary. Since we cannot push this view directly from the dashboard preview, we need to go to Content View to test this example. Here you can see we can easily manage the view from a different tab. Now similarly, create an enum for the browser part. Pass the browse routes inside the main route enum. Copy the dashboard view, create a new SwiftUI view called Browse View, and paste the content. Change the structure name and the route path. Now create a list view and pass a text field. Inside Tab Navigation view, add the Browse view. To check if Browse is working, create another button in the dashboard and add an action to navigate to the Browse tab and open a random profile. As we can see, we have utilized Enum-based routing to easily simplify our navigation. We will continue this in another video where we add more complexity for NavigationSplitView. So stay tuned for more interesting content.
All the code used inside this video are mentioned inside the description box. So if you like the work we are doing and if you're learning something from our videos, please do subscribe to our channel and share it with your group because your subscription will make this type of video happen in the future. So without any further ado, let's get started. And yes, let us know what you liked or disliked about this video in the comment section. Please do like and subscribe to our channel. And yes, do not forget to suggest some more topics. For now, I'll be signing off. We'll definitely see you all in the next video.